Hey guys, it's your boy CeeLo, not green. Please excuse my voice for being more deep and groggy today. I have a pretty bad cold, so yeah, if I sound like corpse, I'm sorry. Today I wanted to go over my thoughts on the Overwatch 2 beta after playing it for what feels like at least 30 hours since Tuesday when I got it randomly on my other account. My main CeeLo one didn't, but my random Sweetwood one did, which I haven't played on in like probably a year. Hey, you know what? I'll take what I can get. I wanted to take a few days before making an impressions video because I wanted to play enough to actually form a good and solid opinion without the rush of the excitement clouding my judgment, and I think I've played enough to know what I like and dislike. So be warned, opinions are on the way, baby. I'll go over each topic I want to cover in little segments, as well as the pros and cons of it, so it'll be easier to understand what I want to say. My first draft of this script was literally me rambling and switching topics randomly, so I need order in my life, otherwise I'd sound like Donnie from the Wild Thornberries.
Oh my god, Overwatch 2, I love Overwatch 2, I love playing, I love rush, I love push, I love push, I love reset.
Let's start off with the pros. So, one tank. It was one of the most controversial choices I think the Blizzard team has ever made for the game. Breaking that tried and true formula of 6v6 in Overwatch was something people considered holy, but let me reassure you, 6v6 will not be missed. Overwatch 2 plays like an almost new game, to be completely honest. The whole shield thing, yeah, missed me with that garbage. Not once did I feel the need to have a shield to hide behind, and I didn't feel like I needed one at all. The game with one tank is incredibly fast-paced, much more fast-paced than Overwatch 1. Every team fight is a skirmish, and it's really up to skill and ability use more than ever to really make a difference. Before you would get immediate value from hard CC like Mei, Cass, Brig, etc. has completely been wiped away. In order to win, you have to be better than the opponents. I know that sounds redundant, but in this case it's super true. The team fights can honestly last a really long time. Somehow with less players, it feels like you're able to keep fighting even when you're down one. If you lose your tank though, it can be really rough. I'm absolutely loving the pace of the game as of now. It feels super fresh, fast, and most importantly, fun. The most important takeaway for me is this: you can have individual impact without needing a perfect team comp or team communication. Team play is still very much a thing, and grouping up for fights happens, but you feel like as every class, you contribute something to each fight that makes you feel like you actually did something to help you and your team win. In this first beta phase, we finally got the new hero Sojourn playable and in our hands after about 2.5 years since she was revealed back at BlizzCon 2019. I'll start off by saying that Sojourn might be one of my favorite DPS heroes in the game now. Her mobility is incredibly fun. The slide and jump is something I don't think I'll ever get sick of, and playing as her has been a blast. Her primary fire took a while for me to get used to, but once I did, I was just pumping damage in like crazy. Her railgun is insanely satisfying to use, maybe as satisfying as getting a Widow headshot, honestly. That little dopamine rush, ooh, can't beat it. The disruptor shot is something I keep forgetting I can use and I end up wasting it half the time, but in the last day I've started to finally get the hang of it. Her ult is also insanely fun because it just enables her to use the most fun part of her kit more. I will say that sometimes when I've used slide, the direction I want to go doesn't seem quite right, and sometimes I've slid and it just bumps into a tiny little part of the map geometry which stops her dead in her tracks and forces you into the cooldown, which has been really frustrating. I feel like if she was able to still slide while colliding with map geometry, it would feel a lot better so you could at least still use the jump if you hit a wall or something by accident. Just really smaller tuned things could make her feel even better than she is now. So along with Sojourn, many of the heroes in the cast got some kind of rework or change to their kit to make them feel a little bit different. I'll start with the smaller ones at first. Cassidy's flash is gone and now is like a mini pulse bomb that has tracking on it. When I was playing him the first few times, I was still used to it being a flashbang, and I got myself caught out a little bit. But once you figure that thing out, it's absolutely busted in my opinion. You 2-tap someone with your gun and then stick it to them, it's an insta-kill. It feels super busted, but I love using it. The tracking is pretty short range, so you really can't just yeet it into the ether and have it work, but it's really strong when brawling up close. Sombra's rework does make her feel pretty different. The hacking while invisible is really fun to play as, but playing against is really annoying. Playing Sigma and getting hacked by a Sombra I literally can't see while I'm ulting is super annoying, and having her hack you with Zen or Ana is a nightmare, but I'll get into that point a little bit later on. She feels a lot better, and she is more useful in a solo queue type situation where you don't need your team to really follow up on hacks or EMP itself to get any value. She can do a ton by herself, which is a reason why I think the devs thought she needed some tweaking. The Brig one, I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. I'll touch more on it when I go into supports later in the video. Okay, smaller ones out of the way, let's dive into the 3 big reworks in the Overwatch 2 beta. So remember when I said I would be an Orisa main when I saw what her kit was in my other video? Yeah, that holds true. Orisa is easily the best new addition to the beta. Like I've said before, she is fundamentally a new hero in Overwatch 2. Almost nothing from her old kit is present, and it's a godsend. I did like Overwatch 1 Orisa to a point, but I never felt like I was like, yeah, I just want to play some Orisa this match. Yeah, that's totally gone. I only want to play Orisa now. The Javelin is such a fun ability. Having it stun is fine since it's a skill shot. I can't tell you how many times I've brawled against a Rhine and he tries to pin or shatter and I just spear him and he stops in his tracks. It's so fun, especially because if the Rhine was better, he'd know my cooldown times, so it just comes down to a tank game sense diff. Yeah, I'm tank diffing kids in the beta, what can I say? Orisa is such a joy to play and she really feels like a new hero was added to tank other than Doom. Speaking of which, it's Doomfist time. Doom as a tank is actual boomer bust. I'm an absolute bust on him. I'm literally throwing if I pick Doom more than ever. I've played against a lot of really good Doom and I've played against a lot of really bad ones too. It's tough because Doom is so CC focused that when the rest of the game is mostly CC free, you have Doom who can just launch you across the map more than anyone else, and it's mad annoying. He also feels like he has so much more health, especially when he uses block. When I use it, I just get melted. When other Dooms do, he just lives forever and just ruins my team. I'm sure Doom is fun for a lot of people, but personally, I won't play him probably that much. I mean, there's a reason I don't play him in Overwatch 1, and not much has changed to make me want to pick him up now. He's good, but he's not for me. The last rework is Bastion. Bastion is fun. I know a lot of people put him really low on their Overwatch 2 hero tier lists, but for me, I think he's really up there. His gun, number one, sounds amazing and feels great to actually use. I was shocked by how good his primary fire is, and Bastion is legit counter to Pharah and Echo now, because he will ruin their lives. His turret is really fun and is really good to combo ults with. Nano Bastion is absolutely horrifying to play into, and Grav Bastion is a legit amazing combo because you can just melt the enemy team in a second flat when you shoot them in the Grav. It's great. His ult feels a little unimpactful, but maybe that's just because I'm bad at it, which is more likely the reason than anything else. The grenade honestly feels absolutely worthless besides giving him a little bit of a rocket jump. Other than that, I feel like it's just a trash version of Cassidy's new grenade. I almost want the self-heal back, but I don't think that'll happen anytime soon. Push is a new game mode added into the beta, and the first new quick play mode since 2016. Push is just non-stop chaos. I think back in September when the pros played and they said it felt like Call of Duty, they meant Push was like that. The map designs of New Queen Street and Coliseum are so porous and full of flank routes that I'm still getting shot from behind from someone taking a route I didn't even know existed. I love the robot, who I'm calling Jeff. Please spread this around. We need a Jeff Kaplan tribute in the game, and I think this robot is the perfect way for it. So let's call him Jeff. Please. His Nama Jeff. I still don't know the intricacies of the mode still, like, does he move faster when both pushing and running back with more people on the point? I really can't tell, honestly. I think if he does, having a sort of animation state that changes depending on how many people are on it will do a great job really communicating this. I really like this mode. It feels like the fight doesn't ever stop. The spawns are so close that it feels like that one person dies, the fight still goes, and by the time that first person gets back, a second person dies, and then that cycle just keeps going on over and over forever. You end up taking a ton of fights because of this. When people said that Overwatch 2 was deathmatchy, I think this is why. On hybrid, escort, and control maps, they're still grouping and taking team fights, but Push is just non-stop action, which sets it apart from the other modes, which is great. It has its own identity as a mode. All of the maps in Overwatch 2, bangers. The new maps, New Queen Street and Coliseum, are both super flank heavy, which helps the mode of Push keep its identity. Midtown is an extremely good hybrid map, one of my favorites in the game now. The overall pathways and places you can hold or attack are so varied, and it's such a breath of fresh air not having 500 choke points at any given point like the old Overwatch 1 maps are. Circuit Royale is incredible too. The giant hill is something completely new in Overwatch. Having that huge high ground with a ton of ways to both defend or flank around and get up to the top is such a cool thing to have in the game. It really feels like no other map in Overwatch, and it's really awesome. All of the older maps from Overwatch 1 feel great. None of them feel bad, and honestly added really the best of the best when it comes to the maps. The new times of day in the beta make them feel fresh, and adding a new cover is a nice little surprise when you notice it, and honestly, they made some great additions to cover. They made really good ones on Dorado and Gibraltar especially. They all make sense and are fantastic changes to the maps to help them make them feel a little bit more tailor-made for 5v5. 5. While the 4 new maps feel amazing and I love playing them, the amount of maps in the rotation feels lacking. This makes sense since 8 out of the 16 old Overwatch 1 maps that are going into Overwatch 2 are playable at this time. It's just a little annoying playing Ilios for the 10th time in the day. I feel like I've played Midtown and Circuit Royale maybe a total of like 7 times in the last 3 days of playing, and I've played Lijiang and Ilios more times than I ever want to. I know that they're making adjustments to the 8 older maps that are still not in rotation yet, and once they are, this issue will resolve itself. I also know that they have at least 3 new maps coming as well, with Rio, India, and Gothenburg still on the way, and I know they have many more in development that we don't know about yet, so I'm hoping that we get more reveals of those maps soon. This is my last point of the positives in the beta before we move on to the cons, and I made sure to make the sound design the last point of the pros because I wanted to lead straight into the cons after I talk about what I like about the sounds. Overall, the new sound design is simply incredible. Not only are the gun sounds so satisfying to shoot, but all of the new voice lines as well are amazing. Hearing new voice lines after the old ones were literally burned into my brain is a much needed switch up. Every game I hear a new interaction during a game, before a match happens, when I kill someone as a specific hero, just so many new lines are in there. I know they'll add more as time goes on. Like, I feel like Sigma has had no changes to his lines at all, so I think as time goes on, all the voice actors for the characters will record more and more lines. It's great, and I can't wait to hear what else they have. All of the gun sounds are, bro, amazing. They have such a punchiness to all of them that I feel like was lacking a little in Overwatch 1. It's one of those things you really can't get until you play it. The gunplay in the game feels significantly more impactful just from the audio alone. I cannot commend the audio team more for the sounds they have put into the game. However, let's head into the cons. Before I continue, I wanted to make this point loud and clear. I know this is a beta and a complete work in progress. I am only complaining about some of the stuff because I want the Overwatch team to work on these things to make the game the best it has ever been. So please know that I'm coming from this with the purest intentions, with no hate or anger at the team at all. I only want to point out this stuff to make sure they get addressed. Hopefully some of my points will be heard. We'll only see with time. Alright, let's get on to the cons. Right now, my absolute biggest issue with the beta is the sound design. While everything sounds amazing, the audio mixing is absolutely terrible. The bassiness of the guns is great, but when it's all I can hear, it needs to be tuned down a little bit. Some of the gun sounds like Sombra, or when you're getting damage boosted, are way too loud and need to be turned down as well. Playing Sombra basically gave me tinnitus, and I don't really want to play her ever again until that gets tweaked. However, the most infuriating and downright inexcusable point with the audio is the objective noises. For the love of God, Team 4, turn them up. The sound of a capture point being taken, and especially the sound on control, when the percentage is going up as you keep control of the point, is so goddamn quiet. Me and my teams have C9'd more times than I can count. I have no idea why they're so quiet. I have gotten actually mad and tilted because Sombra is backcapping and none of us can tell because the guns we're shooting are so loud and the point is so quiet we cannot tell. You can say, oh, well, look at the top of the screen. But when it's 5 seconds left and you're trying to shoot the enemy team to prevent them from pushing through the choke, you literally cannot hear the point being captured, and you're certainly not looking at the objective meter when you're trying to heal or click heads. This needs to be the first change they make to the beta as soon as possible, because I've lost games and people have won games they wouldn't have if information was presented clearer. A perfect segue of information being presented better is the scoreboard. I want to say before I get into it, I love having a scoreboard like this. I think it's great that we can see everything without hiding it because we're scared we're going to get flamed for 5 minutes in a video game. We're a competitive shooter. We need to see the stats in our game. However, the scoreboard as it is now is awful. This has been said time and time again on Twitter and Reddit, but the scoreboard does the worst possible job of presenting the info you actually need to see. The most important reason for pressing tab in Overwatch is to see what your team comp is, how close your team is to ult, what the enemy team comp is, and if anyone is close to respawning if they die. In this scoreboard, all of that is on the furthest edges of the screen as humanly possible. Me playing on a 32-inch 1440p monitor and trying to move my eyes from one edge to the other and back again is extremely annoying. You need to have the most vital information dead center of the screen where you can see what you need to see at a simple glance and a half second without moving your eyes from the crosshair. Right now, the dead center of the scoreboard is nothing. It's a blank space, baby, and it'll write your name. The other major problem is the fact that the scoreboard is huge and almost completely opaque. When you pull up the scoreboard, you're basically alt-tabbing to Spotify to check your next song, because when you hit tab now, you ain't seeing a thing happening in the game when you're checking it. I made a rough mock-up of what I'd like to see, or at least just a better way to present these stats and info, but I've seen much better ones. Today, actually, this guy on Reddit made something that I think is perfect. Alt progress wheels with numbers, transparent enough so you can actually see what's happening behind the scoreboard, and roles and heroes are right in the dead center. I think the stat layout being limbs, assists, death, damage, and healing all in the same order on both sides would be better for readability, but aesthetic wise, I think this is exactly what needs to be in the game. I know that this is the most alpha version of anything in the beta, but I think it needs to be redesigned ASAP. It'll make the quality of game go up exponentially. It's no shock to anyone that the kill feed is in a rough spot. I'm gonna be nice on this one because I think it's mostly just bugged. When people either fall off the map, are booped off the map, or rezzed, the color of who is affected is a total crapshoot. I can't tell if my team got rezzed or if my teammate fell off the map or whatever. I'd have to pull up the scoreboard to see, but that just redirect my vision in a fight or just block it out totally. That's the kind of stuff that stacks on top of each other to make the experience of the game much worse. Plus the headshot markers. Just why? Just make it red. I mean, that has to be a bug. It can't not be. I cannot see why they would change this to be almost completely unreadable. Another part of the UI that really bothers me is when you get in a limb. Half of the time I cannot tell if I killed someone or not. The kill feed is really small compared to Overwatch 1. I like the new design of the kill feed, but that highlighted aspect of when you get a final blow is gone, and the overall size is much smaller. Plus the notifications of when you kill someone or you get an assist are placed right above the ult meter instead of right underneath the crosshair like it is in Overwatch 1. Your peripheral vision, or at least mine, has an incredibly hard time seeing this in the heat of a fight. I feel like a lot of the UI problems in Overwatch 2 aren't from a design standpoint, but rather from location. If a lot of the important UI features like the scoreboard, the kill feed, the kill confirm text, etc. are just either resized or placed in a more readable spot, a lot of these issues would resolve themselves. Like I've said, beta is the time to get this super important feedback to help make the game much better to play. This one's going to be a doozy. While playing tank and DPS is most fun in Overwatch 2, the supports in this round of beta have taken the brunt of the damage when it comes to public perception. To me, the main issue of supports right now is a mix of player expectation and lack of new things. I'll start with the new things part. With tanks, they got huge reworks, a fundamental role change, and new heroes in both Doom and Orisa. DPS now have a lot more room to maneuver with less shields and less CC, so they can be more effective than ever before. But with that, the supports got, I don't know, Briggs Bash doesn't stun. That's it. Support is basically the exact same support role in Overwatch 1, just with Overwatch 2 tanks and DPS. It's like having a horse and buggy in a car race. The other two roles get all the shiny new things, while the supports are basically unchanged and got nothing new. I mean, Mercy's Valk, it didn't even chain heal until they patched it. Like, they're getting nerfed without even actually getting nerfed. The other point I said was player expectations. I think a lot of support players have only played support to heal and only heal. In Overwatch 2, that support role has vastly changed. Supports now are the enablers for your team. They have some of the best abilities in the game, like nade, damage boost, discord, lamp, etc. Playing support is no longer hold left click on your Reinhardt. I've played a lot of Ana in the beta and have been absolutely pounding. Getting huge nades is easier than ever before, and it allows my team to push up on the enemy to confirm kills. Discording key enemies is more important than ever. You cannot play Healbot in Overwatch 2 and get away with it. It just won't work anymore. I think a lot of people don't understand this yet. You have to be able to make plays of support to get your team the win, because if you aren't, I can guarantee you the other team support is. Lucio and Moira are just basically 3rd and 4th DPS. Lucio and Moira are so good because they can get in and out super fast, have good AoE healing, and can damage people really easily too. All of the healers, other than mainly Mercy, Bap, and Zen, who I think are the worst supports right now, have new playstyles, and I think once that clicks with the wider player base, the support problem will go down a little bit. Plus, matchmaking is really rough right now in the beta. It seems to have no skill-based MMR matchmaking at all, because like a gold or plat support might be up against a diamond or master's tracer and will die every time. I think when more people get into the beta and matchmaking starts getting better, the support farm will stop a little more. That being said, the lack of an off-tank or hard CC like Briggs Stun to help protect less mobile supports like Ana and Zen is really hard to deal with. A flanking soldier or Sojourn, a diving Genji or Tracer, A stealth Sombra or just a Doomfist hopping in the back lines is almost impossible to stop right now. Supports are in a rough spot in this first beta, but I can almost without a doubt guarantee the next new hero will be a support, and the Blizzard team is looking for ways to help the supports out in some way, because right now they are the snack the Overwatch community is feasting upon. This last part are just smaller complaints and miscellaneous critiques I have, and I just wanted to air them all out so people can spread the word and see if they agree. Nothing game breaking, but just little things. The LEGO Bastion skin's primary fire is not updated with the new primary fire speed, which is sad because it's the best Bastion skin in the game, and I want to use it without my brain melting from the confusion. The health pack regen thing, just revert it. I thought my game was bugged when the health pack timers didn't show up, but no, you need to be standing literally on top of the health pack, looking down at it to see when it's coming back up. This is pointless or a bug, so I hope they revert or fix this. And the redesigns. I think it's hilarious that this Overwatch League promo video literally uses the Bastion hat redesign as a selling point of the beta when none of the redesigns of the heroes are in the game. I thought this was a major point of advertising, and we've seen plenty of footage of the redesigns front and center, yet not a single one is in the beta. I would get that if some of them aren't finished yet, that's fine, just don't add those. But when you have the Overwatch 2 redesigned 2D concept art portraits of some of them in the hero gallery already, it seems a little misleading that they aren't usable at all yet. I mean, at least put the ones from the 2019 demo in there or something. I don't know, I was just really disappointed when I see they didn't make the cut. Okay, so that was really long, huh? Guess I had a lot of thoughts. I wanted to be thorough with my opinions because I want to make sure that all of the good is shown, as well as all of the things that I think should get a first priority look to change up or be worked on pronto. Overall, I absolutely love the gameplay of Overwatch 2. I haven't had this much fun playing Overwatch in actual years, so this is an extremely positive and overwhelming time in the game's history. So I took a few days to get a video out about it. I literally was having too much fun playing it, and I didn't want to make a video until I was good and ready. And I was ready today. I'm going to make some more videos going over some of the smaller details in the beta and what we can expect in the future, so stick around this channel to see all of that fun stuff. I'm going to make a CeeLo Discord server soon since we hit 2,000 subscribers, which is amazing, by the way. Thank you all so much. I haven't ever made a Discord for like a large group of people, so please give me a little time to learn how to do all of that fun stuff so I can make it as nice as I can for all of us. Also, just a side note, I just wanted to point out that I'm starting to get noticed in games. A few times people have asked me in game if I'm CeeLo with a YouTube, and I'm like, yeah. Lil Boom, if that was your name, I can't remember. If you're watching this, thanks for carrying us on that Eichenwald game, homie. Even in the beta, I get hit with this. Brother, I was not expecting people to recognize me. I'm a 2,000 subscriber YouTuber. How is this a thing? If you do see me in the beta, please say hi. I love talking to you guys. Please don't be nervous. I'm just a dude who plays Overwatch and makes videos when I feel like it. I'm just like you guys. We are one in the same. Okay, that's pretty much it for today. Please like the video if you enjoyed or learned something new. Please subscribe and ring the bell icon to see more from me and to get notified when I upload next. And leave a comment below about what you liked or didn't like about the Overwatch 2 beta if you got in. And don't forget, the Overwatch League is having a beta key drop event during opening weekend next week starting Thursday. So if you're on PC and didn't get in on Wednesday, link your Battle.net to your YouTube account and watch the Overwatch Leagues next weekend, and you could be one of the lucky 1,500 per hour who gets a beta key drop. Okay, thank you guys so much all for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.